Good morning, Arsene. Let's start with your team news. Firstly, how's Gabriel doing?
Gabriel has a little hamstring injury and he will be out for 2 to 3 weeks. That means he's not available for the weekend and certainly not for West Ham nor Monaco. But after that he should be available again.
Still 3 days to go, of course, until the Manchester United game, but at this early stage, are there likely to be any changes to your squad for that match?
Look, we will lose, of course, Gabriel in the squad, and Nacho Monreal might come back. He will have a test today, so that everybody else should be available. The same squad that played against Queen's Park Rangers.
Seems now as though the majority of your squad are back fit and firing. It must be a good position for you to be in.
Yes, we have a lot of competition going on in the team, and especially up front. You know, we have plenty of offensive potential. And it makes, of course, every decision more difficult.
And just very finally, you've won 9 out of your 10 FA Cup quarter-finals in the past. How high is belief ahead of Monday's game?
We are confident through our Premiership run. We feel we have needed confidence. We go to Manchester United to qualify, of course. And to give absolutely everything, and that's the target of the day. Hard work, team effort, and give absolutely everything. Both teams will do that, and I believe it could be a very interesting game.
Arsene, hello. You're talking then about your options, especially up front, and I suppose that's reflected in the fact that it's difficult for Danny Welbeck to get in the side at the moment. I just was going to say, where does his sort of best position lie, and how important does he remain for the team?
He's very important. Danny Welbeck played many games since the start of the season. I think he played nearly in every single game, and his position is one of the 3 up front, central, wide, or left, right. Can play anywhere.
It's been suggested that his Arsenal career is starting to reflect his Manchester United career, and that although he's very much respected and appreciated, he doesn't get the game time that he might.
If you check the statistics, you will see that is a wrong statement. He's one of the players who played the most games for us.
Just last couple of games, though. He's only played 2.
Not in the last couple of games, yes. You know, you can make an individual debate on every single player.
Yeah.
That is, of course, always a possibility, but what is important is that you have moments in the season where some players play a bit less. Most of the time it's up front, and because not every single player can play every game in the biggest part of the season. You have a player like Giroud who plays at the moment, but he missed 4 months, and during that period Welbeck played every single game.
It's been nearly 10 years since you won at Old Trafford. Is this particular Arsenal team perhaps better equipped than its predecessors to change that?
Look, I don't believe too much in history. I believe just in performance of the day. At the moment we are doing very well away from home. Is it the size of the pitch is exactly the same everywhere, and it's just down to how much we turn up and how much effort we put in to win the game.
Given that both clubs are also battling hard for a European Champions League place, is there any extra value in a victory up there in terms of psychological?
No, it's a different competition, and for us it's we have won the FA Cup last year, and we are the holders of a cup, and we want, of course, to keep it, and this competition is important to us, and we want to go there and produce the result. But I don't think it's linked at all with the Premiership.
Linked more to momentum, perhaps, more than anything.
Momentum, desire to win. Cup is give it all on the day, and that's what it is about on Monday night.
One of the big controversies this week, Arsene, has obviously been the spitting incident in the Newcastle-Manchester United game. I just wondered what your views were.
Look, I think it's of course not acceptable. It's down to the FA to deal with that, because we play on Monday night against Man United. I don't think I have too much to interfere in that. You leave that to the FA to deal with it, and until now I felt that they deal very well with this kind of incidents.
One of the subjects that's been talked about a lot recently is also the way that managers behave towards each other.
Why do you look at me?
Obviously, the whole Sunderland game has brought it into focus. But do you sense there has been a change in the way managers behave towards each other in that technical area?
No, it is isolated incidents. Of course, ideally you want us all to behave in a perfect way. Maybe you have to build a wall between the two dugouts, but the bigger the distance, the better it is. And in a modern stadium, I think that it is much better. For example, at the Emirates, we have 0 incident because we are far apart from each other. What happens when the dugouts are very, very close? Everybody speaks to a fourth official, and then it becomes very quickly controversial. And because it's on hype, always the incidents can explode a little bit in physical controversy. But overall, the distance between the two dugouts is a very important part of peace.
Just one last one for me. It often used to be thought possession and whoever dominated possession would win the game. It seems to be less and less that way. What are your sort of thoughts on that particular correlation?
Well, I still think possession is an important part of the game. You cannot go into a game and say you do not want the ball. Sometimes you haven't got the ball because your opponent is better. Sometimes as well because you're leading 1-2-0 and your team is more focused on defending the advantage, and you have to analyze it, of course, but then you have to look at as well, where is the possession? Is it in your own half or is it in the opponent's half? If it's in your own half, it can be a bit illusionary possession. But overall, I still think it's very important that the sport rewards people and teams who take initiative. And if you would think that it's more important that you don't take initiative, would be very negative for the future of our sport. But I don't think.
I'll send just one question, if I may. You spoke in your first answer about it being an interesting game on Monday night. Louis van Gaal's described the race for the top 4 as a rat race. Does that, the position of the Premier League for the two teams, does that put an extra bit of intensity and focus on Monday night's tie?
No, I think personally for me it's a special intensity because it's between two teams who have a chance to win this competition, and both teams will think if we get over this hurdle we have a good opportunity to win the competition, and it's more focused on the FA Cup purely than on the Premiership.
Arsene, as an outsider looking what's going on at Manchester United, what do you make of the way they're playing under Louis van Gaal this season?
Nothing, you know. I think they have a very good team. They have 53 points. Nobody gives you the points in the league, and they had a little bit a difficult start, but they are getting there.
Obviously, there's this debate about the way they play, the tempo. A lot of Manchester United fans aren't particularly happy about the style of play. Do you go there and feel
Look, we have enough problems here to keep our fans happy, so I don't want to interfere with that at all.
But do you go there with the way they play and think this is a real opportunity for this Arsenal side to really stamp their authority on a...
Look, we will go there to try to qualify no matter how, and I do not speculate on any weakness of Man United because they always put the effort in against us, and I'm not concerned about that.
Just going back to Danny Welbeck, he scored 7 goals this season. Do you feel, when you brought him here from Manchester United, do you feel that's enough? Are you satisfied with what he's produced?
Look, first of all, I believe that Danny Welbeck puts big team effort in. He plays very well for me. He's an exceptional football player who will have a great future here. And I'm convinced that, of course, the subject raises a little bit because he's a former Man United player. I'm very, very happy that I bought him, and I think this guy has a great future.
What have you made of Paul Scholes' comments over the last 24 hours regarding Mesut Ozil suggesting he's going through the motions, and perhaps Arsenal aren't the side who genuinely look to win the title and they're happy to finish in the top four?
We are happy to go as far as we can, and we want to win the title. At the moment, I believe that we had, if you look well at our run, we suffered a lot from after pre-season from World Cup syndrome and players who have been out for a long time. And the points we are behind today, we lost until October. Since October, we didn't lose any points on anybody, and I believe that we have come back in a very consistent form. Having said that, I believe about Özil, it's a wrong statement, and he works very hard, and he's a great player.
I mean, just following on from that, Scholes said that he felt he took the easy option, Özil, to come here.
I think a player like Paul Scholes would have loved to play with Mesut Özil.
Are you surprised about some of the criticism that Louis van Gaal has had? I mean, for all the talk about their playing style, they've lost 2 of the last 22 games. They're clearly getting the result.
Yes, but I think we are all, today it's like that, you know. The rule is every day is you have to criticize somebody or you don't sleep well overnight. And because we are in a public job, we have to accept that.
Van Gaal's also said that he needs time as a manager to adapt to English football. Just wondered, when you came all those years ago, what was the biggest adjustment that you had to make to the English game?
Look, you adapt first to your club, to your team, and after that to the players you play for. You are used to play in the league, so it's less problem to adapt to the league. It's more adaptation to the style of play, to the quality of the players. It's important you know well the players you have, and I believe as well Man United is in a construction because they got many new players this year. When I arrived here, I had a stable team who was used to play in the Premier League.
Do you ever look at what's happened at United and think, in terms of what's happened since Sir Alex Ferguson left, and think that could happen to Arsenal maybe one day when I leave?
No. I don't look too much at Man United. I look at my club and what we want to achieve and how I could achieve it, and I leave that to other people.
Arsene, Wojciech, he was ill in the week. Is he likely to be fit?
He has a test today. If he gets through that test, he will play on Monday night.
Is that a concern about a player, especially with a goalkeeper lacking that sharpness, putting him into a big game?
Look, Wojciech is used to playing big games, and I think that he'll take that as a big challenge to show his quality, and he works very hard in training. I don't think that will be a problem.
Because for years people have been saying Arsenal don't have the strength in depth. Now you do, and these guys don't get it going. You've got Theo Walcott, who's sat on the bench and had to watch for the last few games, and people are then saying, well, why aren't you playing these guys? Isn't that the problem that you wanted to have?
We come down to that problem, yes, that people always raise this kind of questions when you do not have enough players, when you have enough players. But I just would like to say that competition, we have chosen a job where competition is part of our job, and that means we cannot complain about that because we have made that choice, and I never understand completely this kind of question, because this is part of our job, and our job is to serve the club and compete with other people to do as well as we can to serve the club, and the only important thing is that what the club achieves after. That's all of us are only here for that.
When you take on Manchester United, do you feel that you can take them on in an open attacking game, or would we be expecting to see more of a performance like at Manchester City, as Nick talked about, soaking things up? Because in past meetings with Manchester United, if you played an open, expansive game against them, it's not really gone.
Look, that will be decided as well by who scores the first goal, because at Manchester City we scored first, then we were more on a defensive foot because they had to come out, and that is not predictable today what will happen, because what is for sure, you need a winner after the game. So that means both teams will go for it, and it will be, you will have to attack well and to defend well on both sides.
Arsene, bonjour. En 2011, en août 2011, Arsenal avait connu un match terrible à Manchester United. Ça a été un match terrible pour les joueurs qui étaient sur le terrain, notamment pour Francis Coquelin, qui a vécu un match très difficile. Et quand on voit aujourd'hui, 3 ans et demi après, il est sur le terrain, il est titulaire, il s'est imposé. C'est une belle histoire pour lui, il revient de loin.
Oui, c'est une histoire qui récompense non seulement la qualité footballistique, mais surtout la valeur mentale du joueur. C'est qu'il est passé par des stades où il aurait pu être désespéré et douter de lui. Et je lui reconnais une forte qualité. Il a toujours su faire son autocritique, ne pas renoncer et accepter les challenges. Il l'a gagné, pas encore totalement, mais in extremis, parce qu'il a été vraiment tangent pendant longtemps, parce qu'on ne lui donnait pas sa chance et qu'il ne l'a pas eu quand il est parti en prêt. Donc on est content quand dans la vie, les gens qui ne renoncent pas sont récompensés.
Un mot sur David Ospina. Beaucoup de monde doutait de sa capacité à s'adapter au football anglais par rapport à sa taille. Lui-même reconnaît que dans le tunnel, quand il voit des joueurs, des gardiens d'1m90, 95, ils sont un peu petits. Et pourtant...
Il a ce petit handicap, on ne peut pas le décliner. Il a un handicap de taille, mais il le compense par une très belle anticipation, une très rapide compréhension du jeu. Et pour l'instant, ça lui permet de s'en sortir à son avantage. Ce qui montre aussi que finalement l'intelligence et la vitesse de compréhension du jeu, c'est aussi important que tout le reste.
Arsene, with Mesut Ozil, since he's come back from injury, he seems to have covered an awful lot of ground. Do you think he's almost got a point to prove to people?
Yes, and he knows that. We are all in a job where you have in every single game to prove a point, and I believe that he has the quality. He puts a lot of effort in to help the team, and he works much harder than his style shows, you know. You can't be cheated a little bit by his style of play, because he's fluent, easy, supple, and he doesn't look like he puts the effort in, but he does.
Has that surprised you, or did you know that when you brought him here, that he had that side to his game?
I knew he had a good physical potential, but I didn't know how good he was physically, but he has a huge physical potential.
Thanks all. You take the microphone.